7 SUVs are quietly approaching a hard deadline. Not recalls, not rumors. Regulatory endpoints that will make ownership itself a liability. These vehicles are still parked in ordinary driveways, still financed, still insured, still driven daily. But behind the scenes, laws, insurance models, and compliance frameworks are already shifting. By 2026, these SUVs will not simply lose value, they will lose permission. And buried in this list is one SUV so deeply compromised that once enforcement begins, owners will have no legal, mechanical, or financial escape. This is not speculation. This is the calm before enforcement. And it starts with number 7. Number 7, Volkswagen Tiguan, 2018 to 2022 gasoline models. The Volkswagen Tiguan earned its place as one of the most trusted compact SUVs in North America. It was marketed as clean, efficient, and responsibly engineered, a vehicle for urban professionals and families who wanted European refinement without regulatory anxiety. Buyers trusted it because Volkswagen said it had learned from its past. The Tiguan was supposed to be compliant by design, future-ready, and safe from emissions controversy. For years, that assumption held, at least on paper. The problem is that the Tiguan's gasoline direct injection engine relies on an emissions control strategy that only performs within compliance during narrow testing parameters. Under real-world driving conditions, especially short trips, cold starts, and congested city traffic, particulate and nitrogen oxide output rises sharply. This was not illegal under older standards. It becomes illegal under 2026 real-world emissions enforcement rules. Cities are no longer relying on lab tests. They are deploying roadside emission sensors that measure actual output as vehicles are driven. The Tiguan repeatedly appears in the data, not as the worst offender, but as a consistent violator once mileage accumulates. Regulators did not announce bans. Instead, they began changing registration requirements. By 2026, renewal in multiple regions will require real-world compliance certification, not manufacturer claims. Volkswagen explored software fixes, but updates reduced performance without solving particulate output at the hardware level. Hardware retrofits exist, but cost more than the vehicle's market value. Insurers have already begun reclassifying the Tiguan as a future non-compliant risk, raising premiums and quietly planning non-renewals. For owners, the consequence is subtle but severe. The Tiguan will still run, it will still drive, but it will lose access to urban zones, fail renewal inspections, and become unsellable in compliant markets. There is no clean exit, only a slow legal suffocation. Number 6, Toyota 4Runner, 2010 to 2023. The Toyota 4Runner has long been sold as indestructible. It became the SUV of choice for buyers who believed reliability came from simplicity, body-on-frame construction, proven engines, minimal electronic intervention. People bought it because it felt immune to trends and immune to regulation. That belief is exactly why the risk is so high. The 4Runner's core platform was engineered before modern side impact and offset crash standards were finalized. For years, Toyota continued selling it under legacy compliance exemptions that allowed older platforms to remain in production. That exemption expires in 2026. When regulators reran crash simulations using updated standards, the results were alarming. Intrusion during side pole impacts exceeded survivable thresholds. Occupant protection failed in ways no longer considered acceptable. This is not a recall issue. The structure itself is the problem. Reinforcing the chassis would require a complete redesign. Toyota cannot retrofit it. Instead, certification quietly stops. New registrations in updated standard jurisdictions will be denied. Insurers are already adjusting liability models because injury severity inside impacts exceeds acceptable actuarial limits. By 2026, some insurers will exclude coverage for crashes exploiting known structural weaknesses. Owners face a harsh reality. The 4Runner will not be banned overnight, but it will become legally restricted. Registration renewal will be denied in regions adopting updated safety standards. Dealers will refuse trade-ins. Export markets will not accept it. You can keep it. You just cannot legally drive it where compliance matters. The SUV that was supposed to last forever becomes stranded by time. Number 5, Chevrolet Bolt EUV. The Chevrolet Bolt EUV was supposed to represent progress, affordable electric mobility, zero emissions, future-proof ownership. Early adopters believed they were buying ahead of regulation, not into it. What undermines the Bolt EUV is not its electric motor, but its battery chemistry and long-term thermal stability. The Bolt EUV uses a high-energy density cell design that performed well in range testing, but but degrades unpredictably with age. As charging cycles accumulate, internal separators weaken. Thermal runaway probability increases, not dramatically, but enough to trigger a different kind of response. Fire risk is not managed like accident risk. One battery fire can destroy a garage, a home, and adjacent vehicles. By 2025, insurers began restricting coverage for indoor charging of the Bolt EUV. Parking authorities banned it from underground garages. Fire departments issued advisories. Manufacturers attempted software-based charge limits, but software cannot reverse chemical degradation. By 2026, jurisdictions begin classifying the Bolt EUV as a high-risk energy storage system rather than a standard passenger vehicle. The Bolt EUV does not become illegal through a ban. It becomes impossible to legally store, insure, and use. Silent, electric, and financially toxic. Number 4. Ford Explorer. 2020 to 2023 with Copilot 360 Assist. The Ford Explorer sold safety as its defining feature. 3 rows, advanced driver assistance, lane centering, adaptive cruise, collision avoidance. Families bought it believing technology would reduce risk. What they did not know was how fragile that promise was over time. The Explorer's driver assistance system relies on a sensor fusion architecture that degrades with calibration drift. Cameras misalign, radar loses precision, software updates introduce latency. Internal testing showed reduced object recognition in rain, low light, and construction zones. Early failures were patched around, but accident data revealed a pattern regulators could not ignore. In 2026, new driver assist regulations require consistent performance over the vehicle's lifespan. The Explorer fails that standard. Ford cannot guarantee compliance beyond initial ownership years. Regulators respond by revoking certification for advanced driver assistance on affected models. Ford disables features remotely to limit liability. Families who bought safety are left with vehicles officially classified as higher risk than older SUVs with no driver assistance at all. The Explorer still drives, but its defining value proposition is gone, and without it, ownership becomes a legal and financial trap. Number 3. Hyundai Tucson, 2019 to 2022 turbocharged models. The Hyundai Tucson earned praise for efficiency, lightweight design, turbocharged performance, excellent fuel economy. It appealed to commuters who wanted SUV practicality without SUV costs. The problem lies inside the engine, not in how it feels to drive. Under 2026 in-use compliance rules, vehicles must meet emissions standards across their certified lifespan. The Tucson cannot reliably do so. Manufacturers cannot guarantee compliance beyond certain mileage thresholds. Mandatory emissions testing will flag these vehicles without warning. Repair costs exceed market value. Engine replacements do not fix the underlying design. Insurance companies reclassify the Tucson as mechanically unstable. Coverage becomes conditional. Financing disappears. One failed test can trigger immediate registration suspension. The SUV that once felt economical becomes disposable by regulation. Number 2. GMC Yukon, 2021 to 2024. The GMC Yukon was sold as the ultimate do-everything SUV, large, powerful, built for permanence. What buyers did not understand was how precisely its weight was engineered to avoid regulation. It sits just below heavy-duty classification. That loophole closes in 2026. New weight-based rules introduce stricter braking requirements, pedestrian safety standards, and infrastructure taxation. The Yukon fails all 3. Braking distances exceed limits. Front-end geometry cannot meet updated pedestrian impact rules. Weight taxes make ownership punitive. Owners find annual ownership costs exceeding replacement value, while resale markets collapse simultaneously. The Yukon becomes regulated out of relevance. Number 1. Tesla Model X, 2019 to 2022. The Tesla Model X is the most severe case because it is not just a vehicle. It is a software-defined system. Braking, steering, battery management, and safety functions are centrally controlled. Buyers accepted this in exchange for updates and innovation. What they did not understand was that ownership was conditional. In 2026, new cybersecurity and vehicle autonomy laws require manufacturers to guarantee owner sovereignty over essential vehicle functions. The Model X cannot comply. Control authority resides with Tesla, not the owner. Regulators identify this as an unacceptable systemic risk. Tesla is given a choice: redesign the architecture or deactivate non-compliant systems. The cheaper option wins. Remote deactivation, service termination, vehicles lose access to critical functions, charging restrictions, safety calibration loss. Registration is revoked because the vehicle no longer meets operational standards. Insurance is void because manufacturer support is withdrawn. There is no fix, no aftermarket override, no legal appeal. The Model X was never fully owned. It was licensed, and that license expires. 7 SUVs, different reasons, same outcome. They will not vanish overnight. They will become unusable quietly, one denied renewal at a time. Deadlines are approaching, awareness is protection, and what sits in ordinary driveways today may already be living on borrowed time.